I Wonder Woman. Not sure.
Really?
Not sure. I think you'd need to work really hard to do it properly.
Yeah, because it is a bit of a mental origin story, isn't it?
Yeah. Tell us why, or do you know, or were you just saying that?
No, because she's some type of African princess or something, isn't she? Amazonian. Yeah.
Yes.
And then she suddenly winds up with a lasso that can make people tell the truth. She's got an invisible plane. It's mental.
Yes. Thank you for demonstrating the invisible jet.
That was the Dam Busters, wasn't it?
With an Xbox controller.
All right, careful now.
An invisible jet.
Easy. Gina Torres. I said this years ago. Gina Torres was born to play that. She's too old now, but she was born to be Wonder Woman 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
And there was a whole. I didn't realize this. There was a whole sort of section of people out there that really wanted Gina Torres. Because anytime I ever said to anybody, they're like, "You're mad." Well, I mean, I got that a lot anyway. But I thought who would play a Wonder Woman? Is there anyone out there right now that could play Wonder Woman?
No, I can't think of anyone.
It's like, don't look at me.
Yeah,
No?
I genuinely can't think of anyone. It's I don't know, for me it's terrible. I can't cast roles. It's just whenever I see somebody in that role I go, oh yeah, they actually work pretty well, or no, they're terrible. But I couldn't go, actually I'd like to see this person in the role or something like that. It's just whenever I see it.
Okay.
But yeah, I could see Gina Torres.
Gina Carano.
Is she the girl that was in Fast and Furious 6? No?
Yeah. Former Strikeforce MMA ladies bantamweight champion.
Right. She was the one. The art.
That's oddly specific.
There was like a photoshopped image of her went around. Sort of, it did the rounds a few weeks ago, didn't it?
Yeah.
Of her as Wonder Woman, but she's too. I mean, she's muscular and she's physical and she's a nice looking woman. Blah blah blah. But she's too unremarkable. I don't see it.
Well, she was in Haywire and she was dubbed. Her voice was dubbed in Haywire, so she has the physical attributes to play the part. But some people don't seem to think she's got the voice to play the part.
What was Haywire?
Haywire was your man Stuart. Wow, no, you put me under pressure now. It was.
You put you under pressure.
Yeah, it was. Tell me. It was a spy film, something along the lines of the Bourne films. It featured Antonio Banderas, Michael Douglas was in it.
Right.
Ewan McGregor was in it.
Very good.
This doesn't ring any bells at all.
Well, I have it now. End of it.
That's great.
Yeah, I'll bring it in. Who directed it? Was it Sorensen directed it, I think? Yeah, no.
Who directed it?
Look it up there, Mark. You're making me feel like under pressure here. But I've seen her in a couple of things where she's done the acting very, very well in terms of the physical stuff, and I think she probably wouldn't be given the lead role in a film like that there, but I think she could probably do a good enough job.
Haywire 2011, directed by Steven Soderbergh.
Yes,
Gina Carano, Ewan McGregor.
Google
could not find IMDb. Google's not having a good night. Okay, right, yes, so that's it. Talking of train wreck trailers like we were at the start of the show, did anybody watch the trailer for I, Frankenstein?
No.
No?
I couldn't bring myself to press play on it.
Don't watch it. It is awful. What do you call him that played Two-Face? Aaron Eckhart. Who's a really good actor, right? I mean, he is a good actor. He's done some great movies. You need to see this. No, actually, you don't need to see it, but you kind of do, but not really. It's terrible. It's so awful. It's like the Underworld movies.
Yeah. Is it one of those ones? It's kind of like you drive past a car accident. You really don't want to look, but you can't help yourself.
You have to. You need to look at the gore. Yeah. So it's kind of like that. George Romero is penning an Empire of the Dead story for Marvel.
20 years ago, I would have said yay.
Yeah.
But now
he made those three terrible.
He's really gone off the boil.
Right.
Okay. I mean, did you see Survival of the Dead?
No.
Like
the last one I saw
on an island?
What was the last one I saw?
Land of the Dead?
Land of the Dead, I think.
Or was it Diary of the Dead? The one
Diary
with
of
the
the
camera?
Dead. I've seen Diary of the Dead, which was awful. There was some good moments in it, though. But it really was scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Survival of the Dead is the worst. It's kind of like a sequel to it. And that, do you know the army guys that show up and raid the RV halfway through?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's actually their story.
All right.
In this one, and like they go to an island with a load of Irish people on it for some reason, even though this is set in America.
But the island's not Ireland.
No.
All right.
No, it's like this little tiny farming community, and it's just it's awful movie.
Okay.
Yeah, and the zombies ate a horse.
Well, like we all.
Like in The Walking Dead.
Didn't we all?
Yeah.
Don't judge them because they ate a horse, okay? We've all been there.
Yeah, I don't know where to go from that. Anyway.
Okay, right, one trailer you probably did watch was the SDCC Godzilla trailer. Did anyone watch this?
What?
Where have these come
Really?
from?
How did you...
What?
What?
When did this come out?
It's on this small site called followingthenerd.com. You really should check it out. You should check it out. Right, okay, because they showed a trailer at SDCC, and then, like all the good trailers... What is that, a yawn?
It was kind of a gasp mixed with a yawn. Was it gone?
Like all the good trailers at SDCC, they don't let anybody else see it unless they went to San Diego.
Lovely.
But then it leaked, and then a high quality version of it.
It's the Avengers of Ultron trailer just all over again, isn't it?
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
It looks really... You don't see an awful lot of it. It's like, the camera pans out and Tokyo's basically destroyed. There's lots of smoke, and you just see the silhouette of Godzilla in the smoke. And the camera pans up and you see his head and he roars, and it looks brilliant. It looks really, really dark and gritty, and it looks class. So I'm surprised you haven't seen it. Terry Crews wants to play the Thing or Colossus.
Fair play to him.
Okay.
There's not going to be a colour change for the Thing. No, he's not going to be blue instead of orange, or
no.
No, but it just because we're changing a lot of colours. So no.
Okay. I would just like to say that Following the Nerd does not necessarily endorse the comments of all its guests.
Yeah.
Well, we could go for green. Come on.
Well, I mean, if you do have orange skin, I'd get checked out by a doctor. You probably have jaundice.
Right. Okay. I think it's time to get Stuart on the line. Hopefully, he's listening in.
Let's inject a bit of reality into this show tonight.
Stuart, are you with us?
I am indeed.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm okay.
Excellent. What is happening? What's the story? What's going
on? With in general the box office top 10, or
just in general. Let's be chatty first. Just in general, what's happening?
Nothing much, to be honest.
See?
Yeah, there we go. Nothing much.
Yes, you see, because we were just talking about how you and Al every week, the first thing we say, well, what's happening? You go, nothing much.
Yeah.
Right.
We're brilliant people to have on, aren't we?
Right, okay. Well, let's, at that, before we go into it, is there anything you want to talk about? Because as I said to you before, every time I go, right, let's get into it, you always go, no, just before we do that, there's one other thing. Is there anything that we want to talk about before we get into the top 10?
Yeah, you were mentioning that I Frankenstein and don't watch the trailer. Well, I'm the inquisitive type, so I watched the trailer and I wish I didn't.
It's awful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really, really bad. Aaron Eckhart, Bill Nye. Bill Nye seems to crop up in all of that kind of rubbish thing, and it is from the producers of Underworld as well, so yeah, no thanks.
Yeah,
it looks like a headache.
It just looks like Underworld. I can't believe, there's some good actors in it, I just can't believe how awful it looks.
Yeah, it looks really bad. And the other interesting thing I was reading is that Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan, who's done things like Saw 4 to 7, The Collector, The Collection, Piranha 3D, they also wrote the script for Pacific Rim. They're actually working for Disney on their next project called The Stuff of Legend, which is sort of like a dark version of Toy Story, about a kid who gets kidnapped by these really nasty ghoul kind of creatures, and his toys have to go and rescue him.
Okay, and is this going to be like an obviously, is it going to be more for the adult market, or is it going to be for...
No, it's actually kids. It's a kids film, but it's sort of like a dark kids film. So like there was a film that was done by Joe Dante called Hole. I'm guessing it's going to have a sort of like a feel like that.
Okay.
It kind of sounds like The Brave Little Toaster. In a weird way, doesn't it?
Okay. Was there kidnapping in The Brave Little Toaster?
It was a wee bit.
Okay.
Yeah, it was subtext.
Okay.
You had to read between the cartoon lines, but
right, all right.
It was there.
Okay, now, Stuart, this hasn't been a great week for the UK box office.
No, it hasn't. 51% down on this time last year. It's the biggest decrease this year, actually, because there hasn't been any big releases over the last few weeks. Normally, you might have sort of like a movie that's cost maybe $100 million or more to make or whatever, but we haven't had that over the last few weeks. And next week, this week actually on Friday, is the same thing. We don't get anything else until I would see a Captain Phillips, which is next week.
Mm-hmm.
Which is big enough to warrant sort of like a big box office take. And so 51% drop on the same time last year is huge.
Yeah, because funny, we actually last week, we very rarely, myself and wife rarely get an opportunity to go out and see something. And we had an opportunity at Babysitters last Friday night, and we actually turned it down because there genuinely was nothing that we wanted to see in the cinema. I mean, Prisoners is supposed to be good, but to be honest with you, it looks like something you could enjoy just as much at home.
Yeah, that's not to say, though, that there isn't any good films out there to go and see. Mm-hmm. It's just that the films that are out there, like you said, a lot of people will look at them and think, actually, that would play better on home release.
Yeah. Okay, right. We'll talk about what's coming up next week, obviously, at the end of it, but let's just get straight into it.
Yep.
Can I just ask before we start? Sorry, we haven't really prepared this. Just read out that number, is it?
Yeah, the first one is this week, the second one is all together.
Okay, right, fair enough. At 10, taking an incredible £284,061 this week and £3,849,543 overall, it's White House Down.
It's a dumb blockbuster movie. I think it should have been released a couple of weeks ago, to be honest, because then it would have given the boost that the box office needs. And it's taken nearly 4 million. I think if it was released a few weeks ago, it would have probably doubled that. But so it was released at the wrong time. Like I keep saying, I said last week, a lot of films were released at the wrong time. I am in agreement with this. This was released at the wrong time. It should have been released maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, and it would have taken much more at the box office. But it's one of those movies that needs to be seen in the cinema because it is completely dumb.
Okay.
At 9, taking £288,289 this week and £6,892,795 overall, it's About Time.
Which I've yet to still see.
Super.
Super.
Alright, moving on. That is, of course, the one with...
It's the Bill Nye and Domhnall Gleeson,
yes.
Is it?
Is it Domhnall
Yes,
Gleeson?
Domhnall?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Right, move on. Right, okay. At number 8, taking £313,491 this week and £6,664,167 overall, it's Insidious, Chapter 2.
The best thing about it is the two characters, Specs and Tucker. The rest of the film is pretty dire, to be honest. By the looks of it, they've got their own spin-off webisodes, so they had 3 webisodes based on their characters. I'm guessing the third film, which there will be a third film, is going to be based on them because the third film's getting written by Lee Winnell and he plays one of the characters. He plays Specs in the film. So the third film will probably centre around them, and I think it might be a slightly better movie, but it'll go to a more comedy horror. So very similar to what the Child's Play series did. It was serious for the first 3, and then it went to comedy horror for the next 2. I think Insidious Chapter 3 would probably be more tongue-in-cheek.
Okay.
At number 7, taking £381,294 this week and £2,456,623 overall, it's Justin and The Knights of Valor.
It's one of those rubbish animated films that should have been thrown directly to DVD rather than the cinema.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
At number 6, taking 503... Okay. There we are. Okay. At number 6, taking £503,111 this week and £1,793,257 overall, it's Runner.
Given Justin Timberlake the chance to actually be the lead role in a film, do you think that's a good idea?
No. Moving on.
Yeah, you know, I like Justin Timberlake in... The Social Network. I thought he was really good in it, and he was the only thing worth watching in Richard Kelly's follow-up to Donnie Darko. What did you call it?
Oh, Darko?
Southland Tales.
Oh, Southland Tales.
And he was pretty good in that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think he's a terrible actor. And I think this movie, because I read during the week as well that apparently there was severe rewrites and stuff done at the last minute, that apparently Ben Affleck wanted nothing to do with it because he knew it was a complete stinker.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the end of that. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, moving swiftly along. At number 5, taking £708,598 this week and £7,904,039 overall, it's... Slow down, people. It's Rush.
It's one of those films where you might think that with it being a Formula One movie based on the two people, Niki Lauda and James Hunt, that you'll not find it interesting unless you're a Formula One fan. That's not the case, though, with Rush, because it's directed by Ron Howard, on a budget of just